Well, hello people of YouTube and the internet, I am ChipGP and today we're back with a theme on my channel which one I didn't do for a really long time. It's drawing a random creature as different Pokemon types. And the reason why I said random, because right now I'm doing a human being. Each one is not a Pokemon, so anyone can say that I'm doing Pokemon as different types. Although if humans can be classified as Pokemon, it's a possibility. I don't know. Okay, awkward intro is over, and for the drawing process, right now. Okay, so the first type is a normal type, and for normal type I decided to draw just a normal human because it just makes sense. Okay, so the reason why I'm doing this is because for a really long time I want to go back to my theme, which one I wasn't doing for a really long time. Like drawing different Pokemon types as different types. That sounds weird, and I already said it earlier. So I did it already with these Pokemon gods Arceus. It's very easy for me to say Pokemon God than say Arceus because I'm scared that I will jam, like butcher the name of this Pokemon. And because I know that I can do that. So for this one I would say again no didn't plan anything special. Mostly some type I did plan before starting drawing them, but most of it was going blindly. So for normal type, yeah, again just a normal guy, giving him a unique position, a unique shape, and I think the way it will work. You know, in Teen Titans there was this stone which have the ability to give you the powers of weapons and skills of other people. I would say if you take the Arceus, take his skill to turn to different type and give it to human, I think it's something like it would look like. Although I think in real life it would just change the color of the user like it did in the anime and game. But because I hate that non-originality, let's say you give the ability to transform into different creatures. And I think there was people who use this stone to store this ability given to themselves, and then they will change the types and ability to fit them. Okay, so here actually I really dislike the way I did the arm, and we're going to fix that. And this moment I was not saying nothing about the arm. Well, it's not something I would complain about. Well, I didn't say nothing about the human, but with it's just a basic normal human. Like, no differences. I mean, the only difference that he live in Pokemon world or world full of those human different types is, yes, they live in the same world. And no, they're not the same character. Like, they are each a good representation, no, well, not good, just representation of their species. And this guy, just a guy. He don't even have a name. I didn't come up with name those characters because I'm not sure that I will use those characters. Same for him. Actually, I would say for lots of this, I did kinda lots of those interesting facial and different characteristics. Well, again, mostly of characters will follow one of the rules I was going to draw them. Here, again, you know, nothing to say here. Like, I think nothing special you can see all in this picture. So let's go check the other characters I did. Okay, let's go. Okay, so the next type is fire type, and for ordering, I will do them in the same order I did the last time with, again, the Pokemon God. Man, I will reference this video so many times, but because this video is the whole reason why I'm doing it right now. Again, saying, for main idea I was thinking about making something, there's two options I want to make. First of all, something with fire and metals, I guess. But again, it would be basically the same what I did with Arceus, so I'd say, nah, do something original. And the second version, which I started to go in, but in a different way, I was thinking about making something like a frog, and its throat will freaking expand, and there will be something like magma in there. Originally, I was thinking about different potions, but while I was going, it created something like an ogre, and I kinda like it very much, so I decided to go with this. Now, for the species history, it doesn't even have a name, but for the species history, I would say it's a species of warriors, but with owners. And basically, they're not very aggressive, but again, they prefer living in harsh environments and basically not interacting with people. And again, saying that they're a species of warriors is also will be a little bit of a reject, or making it way too much of the big deal. I mean, they have swords. The civilization is something like middle, nah, what's barbarians, something like this. But I would not say that they invade stuff or doing stuff like this. I would say they're like pretty nice neighbors. I mean, not very talkative type of neighbors, but still pretty nice neighbors. Like there have been worse things. Now, as the main part of the body, the skin is pretty tough, they are strong, well definitely will be stronger than humans, and they have ability to burst fire slash lava out of their mouth. Well, they're not producing it, they have ability to store it inside of the body, and because fire type means generally immune to fire, it creates up like this. Also creating this effect like it's actually expanding and you can see the magma, but it's still his skin in there. Again, mostly that's all I can say about this character. Again, mostly I didn't develop any kind of personality, any character species name, I didn't come up with those things. I just was going and see what I can do. Sometimes adding some extra details, sometimes not. But mostly, man, I was just going to be fair. And I would say that fire type of human is pretty interesting and I'm pretty much enjoying it right now. Like, super nice. And also it kind of moved me to idea of how I want to do that stuff. I will go back to it, then I will do the water type. But for now, wait, because now it's not a water type, it's a grass type. Okay, so with the grass type, I am not very proud of it. I would say it's in the league of my weakest drawing. Well, because mostly for him, I didn't have any plans. Okay, with normal type and fire type, have some ideas. For him, I just was going blindly. And I will not say it's a bad idea, like with lots of these characters I was going blindly. But with him, no ideas. Okay, so what I did want to do with him, I want him to still be something like a living being. Because sometimes I do grass type as something like a living plants. Now with him I still want him to be resemble of animal. Just with those grassy materials on him. So there would be thing which I did like a beard and the hair which will go on his back, on his face and back and covering his full face, but on his back fully. And then I would also give him something like a bird eye. But let's say it's more of reptilian eyes. I got a little bit distracted there. Man, actually, man, with this drawing I'm not sure. Maybe my computer's a bit lagging and it's moving too fast for me and already don't think and I start talking about it. Not sure, not sure. Well, again, for coloring, I decided to again make it was something like a birdie eye, but again saying it's more reptilian, giving a radio adding on color, making that color mostly darker, but you know, I generally like prefer going with a bit darker color than brighter. And for clothes, actually lots of those species, they are lots of wearing clothes, like they have those same reproductive organs as the real humans. Sometimes they could be different, but I don't think there will be that much of a difference. And mostly they all wear clothes. Well, some exceptions. Like he is wearing clothes. He just made of leaves. And I guess for his species, I would say it's pretty much again the most insulated species. But I would say even they insulated inside of their own race, like they are very shady and not very communicative. Like they're just going, hiding, and doing all that random stuff as well. Like, I see them like this. Again, will not say they are bad members of race. I mean, generally they are neutral, and sometimes like will be bad example with species and good example with the species. And mostly they just like this, living in the woods, hiding, and basically not lots of people see them or hear about them. They also have these claws because for digging, for eating, and other stuff. And also I did something like a mud effect on the foot and legs. Like then they're moving on all fours, legs and arms. And so there's a little dirt in there. For his pants thing, I also did a little bit tying in there. You could see that I did try to create something like a effect or it's being tied together. Sorry, a little bit there. Next I have to go. And then they just tied together. Again, mostly not much to say, so let's just get to the next drawing process. Okay? Okay, so while going for the water type, I would say my main goal, again, I would say originally I want to draw him like a fish slash mermaid man. But still keep his legs because again I want him to have something like a human still appearance. But then I was deciding giving him hair or not. And while thinking about what kind of hair I'm supposed to give him, which one would make sense, I decided to remember a creature that have hair. And that would be a seal. So I decided to change the idea to create it like a fish guy and doing it more like a seal guy. And that's then I have the main idea of that I want to do it as different types of creatures, well, of different type. But I want still him to have the human-like appearance, and I want him to be still be the same type of animals. Basically, the primate mammal. And so for the fish, instead of fish, I just had to go with the seal because it's the closest thing to mammal, sea mammal, which still would be resembling a primate a little bit. Now you can see that he is not wearing new clothes, but he is still covering him a little bit. Well, how about covering? He basically like a full-time seal, like he moves like a seal. Like right now he just sitting on the rocks, that's why he doesn't look like a seal. And his genitalians will also be like a seal-like. And you may ask, seal genitalian? Yeah, they have them. They are mammals. Of course they have them. And it will be something like this. Now, for him, also I decided to give him this kind of eyes. Like, I actually googled the image of fish eye to find and give them. Actually, I guess with eyes I was always googling them to find the perfect way to draw them. Plus, I guess making it a little bit cartoonier because I really want them to be in my art style. And actually, again, I would say that today, on this video, I did pretty much a good job on creating a bunch of random characters in my art style. So I would say, actually, man, I think my art style is generally just getting good a little bit. Yes, a little bit, because again, it's still my art style is very simple, but it's way better than it started. Like when it started, it was even more simpler, I guess. So, okay, my art style is slowly getting good, but I would say I have to say some comments about the race of this creature. Well, again, I would say, again, I think it will be more of the race which one live pretty much wild lifestyle mixed with some modern wild style. So basically like cavemans, but they able to communicate with peoples. I don't know, like with lots of those species, I decided to turn them into races which are less developed than original human. I don't know. It depends on the place where they live. Like some places, it's really hard to make a really nice lifestyle. And they live in the sea. Like what the hell can you do in the sea? Like you cannot build. Well, I guess you can actually build that. Or can you? Maybe. Well, maybe it's possible. I mean, we make ships, but we make ships in our way on the surface. But what if you build ship in the water? And there's like a blow torches which can do that. Then some thrust steel. I'm not sure, it's really confusing. And for species, again, mostly not much to say. I guess it's just general species. Again, much position, no business doing. I guess they could like grab fish and give it to the land walkers to make a deal. But again, I don't think they would like use money. I think there will be more people race which use just food. I guess. Again, saying again, I was not planning on developing any story for this species. But I did develop a story, but I would not say that I kinda develop a race fully. I mean, I just give it a bunch of random traits or random facts about the body of them. Also giving them a little bit mustache and this thing on the nose. Just decide to give them. They have no real purpose. No, actually, I think I did think about the purpose of them. I think there will be something like a sensory organ, like feeling the vibration and help them to orientate. But over here, I think the eyes will also be nice working. And the ears will be nice working. So basically, well yeah, mustache will just be as other sensory organ, which one you just will have. So I guess that's it, and for the next species. Okay, so the flying type is in my other version of drawing. Well, okay, there's two ways I do these drawings. The first one, where you see earlier where creatures have the body of human but looking different depends on the place where they live. Then will be those guys. Those guys look like humans with some differences, and again this guy basically just a human with wings. Now for idea of them I originally didn't know what to do exactly. Again, following the theme of me making characters more human than other creatures, I decided to do something like this. Human with bad wings and birdie legs. Now with bad wings I would say it was like the hardest part because again I didn't shrink the image because then I would shrink the image, I would have to shrink the brush, picking the right size, and plus the wings, the lines would get thinner. And again I would say the wings are not very symmetrical. But I would say in this situation it's kind of helping them. Now the race, I think it will be something like the race which one, let's say, mix of Buddhism, the people of monks, and then normal. Well, say normal is a pretty harsh word. I would say of Americans and stuff like this. Like they live in the sky, well, not the skies. They live in the mountains, the place where it's easy for them to get to into. I will not say they are like very unsocial people. I think they are communicating with others, and mostly they have the traits. Like I would say, depends. They could be a part of the trade because mostly a race with no hands, it will be really hard to make things. I mean, no, generally they're still able to make things. It's just to make something they have to work together and use their mouses because it's the only way they can create something. And and those drawings become really fast making, like already done with him. Well, again, for appearance, I decided to give him a little bit darker color of skin. Again, the bird legs, but I would say again they're mostly mixed of both things. Give him the blonde hair. The arms, I also decided to make those translucent part, and they are actually translucent. You can see straight through them. I mean, I guess it's not very practical that because they can rip. Also, you can see that in the place where they start, you can see that the color of his skin a little bit going on his wing. I want to create something effect of his skin being stretched and something like this. I would say I'm still again not very professional to do that. Again, giving him the chest, and man, it's already the fourth character which I draw without the short hair is basically chest open. There's no secret meaning behind this, but man, I actually have to start drawing some shorts because that's become to look too gay. Okay, so nothing else to say. Yeah, nothing else to say. So for the next character, and let's go. Okay, so the next character is not exactly helping our search situation at all, because the next character is not very close at all, because they have no needs to it, because they have the exoskeleton. So the next type is the back type, and I guess at this moment I was thinking about that while making humans and different Pokemon types, I really had no female in this one. Like they all were males. And then I was start thinking maybe I should make the bug type female, like making her, well, again following the trope of me. Okay, I really like the trope of making the aliens which are not very handsome a female, like making not attractive females. I guess I'm not sure it's bad or not, but I like doing that sometimes. And then I was thinking, no, it's pretty not nice, I would say. So at this moment I decided to do other thing. Alright, in my Patreon, I have a Patreon. Actually on my Patreon you could see those drawings way earlier than this. Like they already finished them couple of days and was waiting them to upload them on YouTube. But if you are part of my Patreon, you could easily just watch my video, well not videos, my drawings before I make the video and then put them on social media. Because I do that in that order. And yes. Well, because again in my social media, on my Patreon, and on the name of the video you could see males and like specifically put males. Because I will do that again but with females. Well, basically it will be just, I don't know, NFT, basically the same character just drawn as more femalish as it can be. And maybe I could even have time to develop a story a bit more. Speaking about the, okay, I think they will just live like ants or wasps. I think they have stuff like this, the queen and stuff like this. So again, then I start knowing a female bug type human. Maybe I will talk about the race a bit more. Maybe I will have time to come up with a bit more stories for the race. But for now, for the next species, and let's go. Okay, those videos are actually, well, in general video a long video, but for drawings they are like pretty quickly done, so I have no idea why it's so long. I mean, there's a bunch, so maybe that's why. Okay, so for the rock type, because I didn't want to make a human made of rocks, decided to make some bulky human who walks on all four legs. Although, well yeah, they will walk on four legs, but they still can use their top legs. An idea, I don't know, for idea I would think something like bottom heavy, or like those creatures from Mass Effect, which one also basically walk on all four legs, and which one talk by saying the emotion first and then talking about like this. I'll not say it was my exact inspiration, but I would say maybe they does have some similarity. Now for clothes, they make their own clothes. Like generally prefer walking on floor, back again, whenever they walk or doing something or standing on the top legs, but it's bringing some discomfort to them. So the clothes have lots of those metallic parts and generally hiding on the shoulders and the back. Because I would say it's like their most, well, it's most vulnerable, but it's still pretty tough place for them. Now they generally live next to caves and spend the times in the cave, so they develop pretty nice night vision. So here can you also see it's about my drawing that I did some playing with the brushes. Now I would say that I was playing with the brushes, but I would say I'm not doing it at the fullest because there was still lots of things I could do, but I didn't do that. Like, I don't know, открывать to get a Madness effect and pick a brush. Which I was saying it's a best brush, but it's a brush. Now, commenting on the drawing in general, for hair I decided to go with those hair. Like nothing special, just simple plain hair. For beards decided to make it a bit sharper, and actually in some moment I was thinking about making it made of rocks. But now I decided to go with sharp beard. And in general, the boots have some metallic parts. I would actually say the species known for digging and getting resources. Like I think they are actually like a normal civilization, normal to this time. But again, mostly, mm, yeah, mostly live in shy form of life. And the price is that I think it's metal, and that's why lots of the clothes have metallic parts. Well, yeah, the boots, the shoulders, and the back. But some races also wear some jewelries, some piercing, and doing some other some other stuff. Also can say they have pretty tough bones and tough heads. So yeah, generally, basically what can be classified as human who are rocky and something like this. So let's get to the next drawing process because not making this video any longer than it needs to be. Yeah, so for the ground type, generally was thinking about going something like a mold human, mold people, but yet didn't want to create a hybrid of mold and human, so decided just to make human for a pretty moldy. For eyes, decided to make really small pupils, and originally I was going to make a full-time eyes, what I usually do, but judging by his position and emotion expression, decided to change them to half-closed eyes. For body, jacket and clothes which are leaving open belly button. Well, generally, I would say it's not like a species who like spend the whole time in underground, but would say again it's a species which live in a normal environment, but still most prefer to spend lots of its time in underground. Again for the body was following lots of those biology rules of the moles. And again, mostly not following it, but doing something close to it. Like for moles, having really short hair in that way that the ground didn't stick to it. The small ears, so the ground didn't get inside of ears. Their eyes, which were small, because George didn't get in the ears. And for clothes, again, mostly jacket clothes and lots of torn places. Again, torn places mostly in pants, in the boots, because those boots are not created by them. I actually would say it's a species which doesn't create much of the stuff. Again, I will not say it's a negative species, but it's again not the most pleasant species. I think they're just mostly, well, bottom feeders, I would say. They're something like this. Mostly just enjoying for the sap and mostly doing like this. Again, the strongest sense of them is the sense of smell. And for diet, I would say they eat in worms and doing other stuff. For eyes, again, they are mostly pleasant into darkness, but again, I will not say they become completely blind in the day. I still would say some see something in the day, but it would be way weaker than they see in the darkness. Like they are not fully blind. Like that's definitely what they are. And for jacket, again giving it a little bit of, well, it's a jacket. I just make a jacket. Look pretty cool and other stuff. Making lots of those textures, and for textures I would say textures on this baby, they are pretty weird. Like mostly originally I didn't want to do much for the textures, so just add a bunch of those different colored lines. And with the tool I was using, it was looking not so great. And also man, for a really long time I was really thinking a lot different from this tool I use. Again, if you followed me, you know that I changed the brush recently. And was struggling to tell the difference. Well, there is definitely a difference, it just was really hard for me to tell. Now, I think for brush I was using from beginning, whenever I would draw something, the line would slowly get in a little bit thinner or more, failure. I think it was something like this. With this new brush, it's all will be the same. Like, you go in, it doesn't get thinner, it doesn't get more translucent, it's basically the same. And man, actually, I'm not sure. Maybe I'm liking it more what I did before, or maybe just because my hand become a little bit better on drawing stuff. Well, again, how much better? Again, lots of those. Well, actually, now, well, I see a bunch of bent lines, but I would say it's kind of you have to look pretty close to see them. Generally, it's look pretty nice to me. Although, you know what? Maybe just me and my art basically by professional. Well, again, my art is not professional, but I don't know if professionals saw my art, they would just say, yeah, but you know, I'm ready to take such critics because even I understand what my art is not great. It's basic. Okay, so let's keep for the next type of metallic. Okay, so the steel type is the steel type is a bit creepy because generally I didn't want to make a robot, and with steel type it's basically either he has something metallic, either he's a robot. And for metallic, I decided to give him a secondary skeleton made of metal. So yes, this species developed two types of skeleton, the inside skeleton and outside skeleton. They all made of metal, but outside skeleton is more made of metal. Now then I started making it, it was a really questionable will it be good or not. Because I don't know, when I started it I suddenly started being good, and then slowly my desire to draw it become a little bit less and I have a little bit of art block. Then slowly started forcing myself to draw a little bit, like in the group of dirt of the earth bending there was a rock, ground and steel. I suddenly decided to draw. Well, I draw Molman in one day, and then after a couple of days decided to draw this. Well, no. I draw Mole and Steel in one day, but then after taking a small break decided to finish the Steel on a different day. So it's been a nice lesson. Never give up on the drawing. Finish it and then see is it really that bad or not. Well, again I missed to comment that I tried to do realistic bones. For his mask, for this chin bust, for the ribs, and because spine cannot be seen on the belly, he have a spine on his back. The bones, I try to do them really much correctly as much as I can, so give me credit a little bit here. And also this part of butt, well, lower part of the body. Also, do you know technically humans still have the tails? I mean, it's a small bones which used to be our tails and now basically not visible. I mean, there is a genetic disorder where you grow a tail, but I'm not sure. I actually think it's more like just a piece of meat without nothing in it. Which one really, well, not that disturbing, but very interesting, I would say. Now, for the skin, yeah, he actually does have a skin. Like, it's not just man made of steel, bones, and muscle. No, he actually have a skin. It's just pretty tough and very translucent, so you basically see it's, well, nah. Well, yeah, it's translucent, you basically see the muscle. But again, it's not like he's not completely meat, still the skin. And basically, yeah, he's walking nuts, but the race developed a tail would actually go in front of the genitalium and would cover it, and basically hide it and help it a lot. Now here, also I was picking lots of different colors I could use. Like, for metal, I was really picking about the color I would like to use. Like, either I would like to make it white, but in the red you can still see it. I would have to go with this bluish one. Decided to go with it. Well, there's also was a couple of other options. You could see them while I was talking. Also decided to give some of the shine. I'm not sure if it's correctly. I mean, the shine is basically the sun falling on the metallic part. In my scenario, I just make a bunch of shine in every different places. Now for the position, I decided to give him a claws. They actually have this bone part, which will actually go a little bit further and create something like a knuckles. And for the race, I see it as a race of assassins. Like, okay, this race doesn't look safe, they look terrible. Well, terrible in the way they look creepy, and they're a race of assassins. Again, they still have something like an honor, but again, they are assassins that basically decide to kill people for hire. Basically, they live Again, very well, not very insulated, but they are trying to be sneaky as much as they can, because if you are assassin, you probably don't want to people to know that you are assassins. But the fact that they are assassins is already a well-known fact, and they're not complaining because people who want the job are going to them. But again, there's also people who want to stop the big gain. And man, actually, I'm like, as right now I see in my face, it's so dark. Well, I guess it's always been like this. I'm working on something, but okay, nothing else to say for the next drawing. Okay, so last couple of types I was just going blind. For this one actually I have some idea, but again throwing them in trash can. Main idea was to create something like a bulky guy with bunch of metallic rods, which one would create like in Tesla coil and something like this. But after that I decided to go, well, with this idea. But instead of making something like a bulky guy without a short, again we're slowly going to making bunch of guys without the shorts. Don't question the things you don't need to know the answer, okay? Okay, let's not question. But then after slowly going to idea of creating something like punk guy. And for the species, I will not say that generally like a punk guy. I think they're mostly close to normal human civilization. I would say close to city lifestyle, but again, because population is small, they cannot like create full-time cities. They just create something like a town, and the same as rock type, and basically just town people. Now they live well. Basically, they generally grow able to grow those metallic spikes on the body, but the species also know for giving themselves a piercing for making the power a bit stronger. And generally, this is not exactly a prime example of the species. This guy have the piercing of his lips and have these bracelets with spikes, but I guess his real spikes will be on his shoulder and on his nose. And this thing here also will be his real spikes, which one he grow by himself. Generally, the species is not different from any humans. Well, I guess again their bones are a bit more electric conductive, and again not entirely made of metal, but more metallic than normal human bones. And also the blood less also more metallic than other stuff. Now the hair, they will have this fluffy hair, but again not recommended to touch them because those hair very conductive, and man, if you touch that you have 5 heart attacks and 5 heart starts, but in the end you will still die. Now, while making this again, I would say it's a weak drawing. No, it's drawn very nicely, but for originality I would say it's one of my weakest, because this guy basically less so electric. Like again, he have these electrics in his eyes, in the hair, and the spikes. But I would say it's pretty weak to me. Also, I give this little metallic buttons on his jacket because I thought it was looking cool. Now, again, while making this drawing, I would say this guy freaking looked like Glam from Family Metal Family. And it was not intentional. And to be fair, man, he look like him because maybe both they have scar faces and the hair, which are blondie and very fluffy. But I guess that's the end where they end with similarity. Well, again, they both, well, man, I think Glam is more glam rock, and this one, I think will be more of the punk rock. Maybe. Again. But again, similarity are existing, but again, it's not exactly same characters. I mean, there could be ton of similarity. Okay, now making this part of the body because I guess I would say there was not many parts of him saying that it was a guy who is electric guy. So I decided to add some of glowiness of lightning to his veins, and that will be actually his vein. I'm not sure it will be his real body veins because again I'm not like really good in biology. I mean I could basically go to Google and search for biology fact because sometimes I do that. Again, whenever I want to do something close to real life, it's not like I would do something full-time search or go check deeper. I would just do something on the surface and which I would say cool, but it's again not that going deep, not that deep. Okay, so while looking at my electric guy, I would also want to say that I did create something like effect like lightning going behind the spikes and on top of spikes, like it's swirling around them. But for now, there's nothing else. Again, for him I used a couple of different brushes, but Well, got mixed feelings. Like, I think it's not that bad, but again, I would say it's not that great. Well, from the mixed brushes, I use the pencil brush for those little lighting on his shoulders, and for hair brushes, I don't even remember what I used. I think it's maybe a can paint. Yeah, maybe it's a can paint. I'm not sure. But that's it, and let's go for the next character. Okay, so I add some speed to the video because I think it was making really long video, like almost an hour. Okay, so the next type is ice type, and for him, I guess I was going to make a ship. Because I don't know, whenever I make ice type, I add like as much as fur as possible, and it's almost close to the ship. I did that with Arceus and did the same with human. Not regretting it. Now for the eyes, I decided to create something with like a ship eye. Well, the goat eye, where they like smooshed pupils, and also making it in my cartoony art style. Now the eye type is basically the most simplest type I could make. It's basically just a bunch of fur and a ship face with a beard. And if you ask me, dude, didn't you like break one of your rules where you would say you will try to keep the most of humanic look? They still got humanic look, it just now there's also a little bit of... Man, first of all, his face is not going forward, it's just going a little bit lower, so it still is keeping its own humanic looks. And man, it was like really fast that I didn't even have time to comment on the species interesting facts. Well, this ice type species is... They live on the cold areas, depends on the hill where there's snow sometimes and the mountain. Now they're generally pretty low and fat, and well, fat literally they have tons of fats and fur, but again they are pretty calm and slow speaking species. Well, depends, like if that species which one live in a place where there's a little bit snow, there will be more talking and more moving and have some farming and other stuff. Mostly they have omnivorous diet. But there's also some members of the species which live on the mountains where they like really low mobility and like pretty aggressive and literally eating lots of stuff and random stuff. Like question how the hell they're surviving, well they somehow does. Now for fur, I also did something like a sheep fur, but also trying to create illusion like on the legs it's a bit more uncared. Well yeah, there are species which are really take good care of their fur. Like they work on it to make it look nice, like they have a bunch of personal hygiene and other stuff. But that's it for the species, and for the next one, the goal is not taking this super long. I said it already, but I said it once more because I can say it whatever I want. It's my video! Well, I mean some limits because it's not my platform to say anything I want, so but it's my video and can say anything I want, but regarding YouTube rules. Did I make this video long enough? Well, definitely did. Okay, so now I have to make video a bit slow because it was going so fast that I didn't have time to react to this. And maybe I should make this video two-part because man, sometimes I either make a video where I will be able to react, but it will go super long. Or I'm gonna make a video which pretty nicely in time, but it will go so fast that I will not have time to react. So for the poison type, again, I really want to go originally with a snake guy, with a tail and scaly scales. But after that I decided to change it to... Again, I was thinking of a guy who will have poison in his arm. But after working on thinking about it, I decided to make a snake guy. But again, if you were asking me, I would say he's more of salamander and commander dragon, like mix of those. I mean, generally poison and his cheeks are not that deadly. It will give you a rush or paralyze you, but it will not be fatal. Although, man, if you give it enough dosage, it will be deadly because, man, your heart will stop or be too balanced. So, it's something like this. Oh, for talking about the race, man, for race, okay, starts to regret making this so fast because nothing to say about. Well, again, the skin, again, is more like salamander skin, and these dots, again, like salamander dots. He have this bunch of feathers on his head, and I would say those feathers are something like a way they communicating. I mean, they're able to talk, but again, I would say the feathers is also the second way they communicating with the brothers and something like this, like a peacock. Like different combination of colors and places which could mean different words. I mean, it's a simple language, but it's a language. And for also they have these gills, but I think those gills will be pretty useless because they will not be working. And for the other stuff, I mean, I think I said already what I want. I mean, they have pretty flexible bones, and also I like what I did here. I really, for arms, I want to create something like Adventure Time wiggling arms. And man, I think in Adventure Time they are a bit like way more wiggly and way more less of bones. But in this one, they are just in the wave form. Man, I cannot make a nice wave. Yeah, something like this, I guess. Well, okay. Oh, the next character, I guess. Yeah, man, it will be pretty fast. May if I didn't remove speed some. Okay, let's go. Okay, so I'll make it a little bit slower, but for the future, I have to note myself that I would need to make two parters if I think it will be too long. Because I'm thinking this scenario it was a bit too long. For the psychic species, my idea was to make a human, basic normal human with psychic ability, and I think such thing does exist in Pokemon world. I decided to make a full culture of those psychics. Now the clothes again pretty again something like a monk would wear. The hair, I decided to make hair like a second appendages and I would walk as a secondary arm, making them like really huge. And also giving those little ribbons. And you know what, actually, thinking about it, maybe I should have those ribbons green and red. Because it's Christmas and maybe it will be a little bit Christmas fastacious. Man, actually, I never actually planned to make a Christmas drawing, like it was never in my ideas. I mean, it's not that hard, but generally I was not in the mood to do that. Okay, so also for the coloring, I decided to give the character lots of those purplish colors. Well, technically, whenever I work with a type, I always try to give them the color of the type. Now, giving him the third eye, it's not actually a real eye, it's a drawing eye. And also, I decided to give them the same color for eyebrows. Now, for eyebrows, I would see the species that they shave the eyebrows and then draw the eyebrows to those colors. Given the psychic type orange hair and a bit darker skin color. Actually, I think I was trying to be very original with skin colors and usually trying to pick something with mythical slash something exotic slash something darkened. And then there also will be some whites. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I think it was something like this. Also given those veins, because again, it needs something definition that will say this guy is a psychic. And then also making all of those colors. Also, I would say with pink colors, I was picking the pink and purple. While pink will be representing something like a color, like just something like makeup, while dark purple will be representing the hair. Okay, they will have the original hair, they will have orange hair, but for eyebrows and this beard, they would have something like, well, purple will represent just hair, that's what I'm trying to say. Well, talking about the psychic type, and actually, I would say this is my favorite type I did. I really like the way I draw him, and it's like super nice. I think it's like the best of my work. Also for the legs, yeah, just noticed. I decided to give him something like a flower legs. Like they actually, they have ability to open like a flower. And actually, man, they don't actually use those legs. They mostly levitating, like they have two full-time psychic abilities. And actually, you know what, actually, at first, then I was starting drawing them. Originally, I was thinking about making something like a guy with super big brain, but super small body and almost gray and about to what the word, come on, think twice. Die. Well, it's not the word I want to say. Necrosis, the body who about to necrosis. But after that I would decide, nah, I would make this kind of normal body, just give him a little bit of the vibe of monk and something telepathic, like what they do in cartoons and other stuff. So there's nothing else to say. So let's get to the next drawing. And I think it's pretty nice speed for this video. Okay, this one will be pretty quick because this one like blink and it's done. So it's a fairy type human, and for him, okay, with other types I have some idea what I want to do, but while starting to making it, it's go through some bunch of changes. Here, I have the idea what I want to do, but the changes they didn't go for me. I was thinking about making drawing a just a chibi human. Now the race is pretty small and the personality is kinda animation, but I would say as a species they are jerks. Yeah, it's following basically the old trope of making a very cute character a big jerk. I like that trope. Now for legs, man, I really want to make the legs when one leg will be raised, another would be on the air. Well, I want to do it with different legs, but I was struggling to make it, and after some times I decided to do it with different legs because it would be way easier for me. Now for eyes, give it him the anime eyes, which one I will finally learn again how to do. I usually want to say that I'm very good at drawing anime eyes, but after sometimes not drawing them, I kinda did forget how to do that. But after some back learning, I finally did something like this. Well, again, already finished, as I was saying. And also, I would say this guy kinda look like Morty from Rick and Morty. And then I was making it, I kinda noticed it, but then said, let's make it a Morty. I mean, Morty pretty cute, as, well, yeah, he's pretty cute. Yeah, if you want to make him cute, he will be cute. Generally, he's pretty adult character, cartoon character. But yes, and honestly, nothing else to say. And actually, that's a good idea, because more less I speak, the more characters we go through. Okay, let's go. Okay, so with fighting type, they literally, my brain was empty. I was trying to make it as original as I can, like making the different air shape, think what else I can make. But honestly, with fighting type, I really don't want to make like super muscular red and beast monster. I also don't want to give him much for arm because it basically will just Machamp, so I don't know, with fighting type I should just draw human with extra muscle, I would say. Well, to be fair, you know what, if human were a Pokemon type, there would definitely will be a fighting type with maybe other type possibilities, I'm not sure. Well, maybe also Psychic, maybe Fairy, I'm not sure. Or maybe Dark, like there's sometimes evil human, you know. Oh yeah, for fighting type, just tough human who go to gym. I also, okay, nothing else to say. It's basically normal human. They like live with other humans. They're basically training. It's basically, I don't know, human if have evolution possibility, that would be this. It'd be Haman, или Haman. Well, yeah, Haman. Nothing to say. That's it. Well, that's yeah. Nicely drawn. Actually, I would say for this guy, I actually went to Wiki, or not Wiki, Google, to find the image of how to draw nice muscle, because I really try to as hard as I can to make it somewhat original. But I think, yeah, I really have a mixed feeling about him. Well, the apps look pretty weird. Like that's the whole reason why I want to go to Google to find a way to draw apps. But they was too realistic for my characters, so even went to Google the cartoony app, there was nothing there. Well, let's just get to the next character, okay? Okay. Okay, so the next type is Dragon type. For him, I kind of want to go with Asian vibes. And was making, yeah, I was making something like, I think I did it right. Again, the most reptilian factors. Also give him a little bit spikes on his nose, on the ears, and generally was trying to turn every hair he have into the spikes. And mostly his eyebrows and beard would be something like yellow spikes, but his hair would be, I don't even know the name of the color. Given this position because you know why. Let's not say it because I think we all get why. I'll not say it's very stereotypical. Although, man, is it stereotypical? I mean, the bowling, but I think then you bowling, you are just and your hands back there. Maybe you're doing like this. I'm not. I never bowled in my entire life, so let's not question this. Here, him and tell. I'm already finishing. What? I didn't even think about bowling, and I'm already finishing. Okay, that's pretty fast. Even for me. Well, for hair, again, also want to give him, well, originally the hair I want them to be spikes, like large spikes, like something you see on creature from sports. But then they look like hair, then fix it, and then Then we just draw a secondary layer to show they're growing from sun. Give him a scale, give him a blue eye, because I think it's a beautiful color. The tail with spikes, and mostly again, most lots of spikes. And also giving him a normal clothes. Like whenever I think about the culture, again I would say it's basically the same as normal. Well, let's say it's a town. They live in a town with Asian vibes again, but again, a mix of different cultures. I'll not say they belong to specific cultures, it's a mix of different cultures. And mostly I see them as something like a wise creature. Now this dragon is actually not young teenager, he actually pretty like elderly. So old people in the dragon people nation dress like this. So okay, now I think I've said everything I want. So for the next character. Okay, so for the dark type, again, not many ideas. I originally was thinking about making like something like a beast and of tarot. But while drawing it, I really didn't want to make a beast, so I decided to just start drawing something edgy and creepy, and then suddenly come to my mind, what about if I draw a troll? Now I really didn't want to give him these thanks, but instead decided to do something brand new and give him those tags, how do you say it, tags. Then giving him something like a scrappy short hair with backing bats. I'm still not sure it's the right way to call them. And basically decided to turn the species into something magical. And generally I will not say they are the species of these bad evil creatures, but I would say they are pretty dark. And edgy. Well, not like super edgy, but they prefer studying in dark magic. But again, not a bad species. Again, they're basically random species members. Now, generally, they are wearing old classic clothes from medieval. Whenever I want to say medieval, but not sure what medieval what. The time there was knights and other stuff, they were clothes in that period of time. Now he was holding a book, he wearing a cape, his pants go well, his short is going on his pants, so that's why you don't see his crotch, and that's why he. Oh yeah, that's why the whole reason. Actually, reading for a long time, I want to draw something like a short which are going on pants and legs going inside that short, giving him tons of belts and the jewelry. And man, that was fast, and I think I said everything I want to say about this PC. So, not keeping any, not stealing any time, let's go to the next PC. Let's go. Okay, so for the ghost type, originally I was thinking to make something like a translucent skin and lots of those tags. But then the translucent skin would mean that you could see his bones, and I already did the Arceus ghost type with bones and smoke around it. So I decided to go with a monster with open jaw. And like circle and full all time open jaw. Then after that I also think about making those holes in the jaw, and making you still see his bones. Like you could see the bone, I think this bone, no, this bone, which connects his jaw to the head. And also his eyes will be really droopy, and you can see his skull. And again, he will have holes in his body where you can also see a bunch of holes and that stuff. He wearing those shorts, he's pretty skinny, you could see his ribs, and for hair he have this bunch of smoke. And also the smoke kinda look like a fire. I would say it's a smoke, but he can also act as a fire. Now the species is generally like, well, it's basically like if human was dead. Like it's freaking lost, it live in the woods, really unsocial, against even its own species. I guess it's just like a ghost. And basically, I think any human could become like this thing. Even a pale skin, lots of those ghost Pokemon theme color, and again, mostly nothing to say. The last thing I can say, my computer for some reason hate what I'm doing right now. Like right now, he's freaking lagging like hell. I don't know, maybe because I've been working this whole day on him, I'm not sure. Like, basically he have no reason to be laggy today. Wait, actually, he have all the reason to be laggy today. I've been working on him this whole day. Well, he deserves a break. Little break. Yes, I was looking at the character, I would say, I think I've said everything I want to say about him. And so there's nothing else to say. So, for my final words, and not let this any longer. Subscribe, like, comment, dislike, check my social media, check my other channels, check everything about me. And don't forget to have a nice day. I hope I make this video not that long.